The general public is unfamiliar with the name of this musical icon. As a songwriter and producer, the New Jersey native had remarkable success, with all the oldies easy listening in R&B stations on an FM dial. This musician, to a large degree, still rules the airwaves years after his passing. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Freddie Perren. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born Frederick James Perren on May 15, 1943 and raised in Englewood, New Jersey. From an early age, Perren was destined for a career in music. His sister Florence recalled to the Star Ledger, "I asked him one time, how do you know what music to write? He said, I have tunes running in my head all the time." That was so typical of him. He was interested in all kinds of music. He turned me on to opera. At Dwight Morrow High School, Perren was a member of the marching band, the orchestra. He also became an accomplished piano player. Perren went on to attend Howard University's music school in Washington, D.C. After finishing high school, he met several musicians there, including songwriter Phonce Maziel and Capitol Records record producer Larkin Arnold, with whom he would create lifelong collaborations. Perren eventually established a scholarship for financially disadvantaged music majors at the school. Perren earned a degree in music teaching in 1966 and went on to teach music in Washington's public high schools while also playing keyboards for Chubby Checker. He also met the songwriter Christine Yarian. The two would become a prolific couple, marrying and having 2 children and working on hundreds of songs. In 1968, Perren and Yarian moved to California to pursue their musical careers. The couple and bassist Alfonso Maziel met guitar player Dickie Richards. The duo began writing music together. In 1969, Motown president Berry Gordy offered him to join his collective, The Corporation, which included composers and producers for the Jackson 5. "I Want You Back" was the first hit from this new collaboration, going to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1970. They wrote and produced more Jackson 5 hits such as ABC, The Love You Save, Mama's Pearl, and Maybe Tomorrow, among others. The Jackson 5 sound, created by Perren colleagues, was swiftly branded bubblegum soul by reviewers and struck a chord with a public tired of the country's social upheaval caused by the ongoing civil rights movement and the Vietnam War. The music was catchy, upbeat, and made you want to dance, which is typical of Perren's unique style. He was an up-tempo guy, his wife told the Star Ledger. He thought all the up-tempo songs should have the heartbeat of somebody who was dancing, and he always checked his rhythms to that. When Michael Jackson decided to go solo, The Corporation co-produced his #5 R&B hit Ben. At the time, all songs produced or arranged by The Corporation were credited just that way. Individual members were not listed on recordings. Persistent rumors say that Gordy did this to keep Perren, Maziel, and Richards from becoming too renowned and thus commanding a higher salary. In 1972, producer Hal Davis took up the Jacksons' work and The Corporation dissolved. Perren produced a few more projects for Motown, including the soundtracks for the films Hell Up in Harlem and Cooley High, which featured It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday, which later became a hit for Boyz II Men. In 1976, he produced the #1 pop hit, Love Machine for the Miracles. After leaving Motown in 1976, Perren produced the Silvers for Capitol Records. With disco just hitting its stride, Perren wrote the group's #1 hit Boogie Fever. He also wrote and produced the disco chart Top of Heaven, Must Be Missing an Angel for the Tavares. For Polygraph Records, he produced Peaches and Herbs, writing their 2 biggest hits, Shake Your Groove Thing and Reunited. Perren also helped spread Saturday Night Fever by producing songs for the soundtrack, If I Can't Have You, and More Than a Woman. Perren shared the soundtrack's Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 1978. In 1980, he produced and co-wrote Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, one of the world's most recognizable songs. Part feminist anthem, part show tune, all around infectious groove, the song soared up the charts, won a 1980 Grammy for Best Disco Recording, and became a world-famous classic. However, it was one of Perren's last big hits. After working briefly with New Edition in the 1980s, he left the business. In 1993, he suffered a massive stroke from which he never quite recovered. On December 16, 2004, the 61-year-old Perren passed away at his home in California. Though his name has remained relatively unknown outside of the music industry, his music, like his best-known song, has survived in music clubs and discos worldwide. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song that Freddie Perren wrote?